this with spreadsheets. Do this with presentations. Do this with documents. Where is it stored? That device is gone. I don't care. It's up here. I can get to it off this machine. It's yours. Not mine. It's yours. I can send an email Sorry, I put it this way. It's a little painful.
Just put a great comment.
But I can sit there and send an email to Nathan if I want. And I'm going to sit here and attach this file. And what I've just done is have inserted a link into this email to the live document.
But if he's not, coded as it to share, will it actually put the document?
No, what it will do, so I'm putting something in there that I haven't shared anybody with, right? It's going to come up and say, hey, not everybody has shared this here. How do you want to share it? It will send a link that they can view it. They can comment on it, or they can edit it. You give them that permission.
Every person in the email?
Yep. If you want to change permissions on that document in the email, you're going to have to go into the email or into the document and make those modifications on that share setting.
Right.
I can sit there and send it. Now if I sit there and I say, you know what, I know everybody is Google here. There's another thing here that says recipients of this email, and it says that what's nice about this, I say, yeah, I know that they are all on Google. They all have Google accounts. I'm going to send it to them, and it will track who has made what changes. You just send a link out, or it's a little bit anonymous. But if you say, I know these people have Google accounts, they'll be able to log in with their Google account, make the changes that they need to, so you can track those changes. It's a live document. It's not a copy of a document. It's not, you send a document out to everybody in this room, and now everybody has a different version of that same document, right? And that's possible. Now all of a sudden you've got 15 people that need to make comments to it. You comment on the live document, you make changes in the live document, you don't have to worry about that again. It's all in the same version. Let me answer questions. It's 1:51. Have I answered questions here? Have I created questions? Have I wasted your time?
You delete people from your, if they have access to your document, later device.
Absolutely. You can remove that person.
How far back in revisions can you go?
Forever. It remembers every change you make.
It seems like you have everything to make an educational type of program. Is there any future plans for that? Like an educational maintenance program in general? It's a little bit more, less cumbersome maybe for the everyday teacher. So like, this is all great, but for me to teach your average teacher how to do a lot of this, it's going to take a long, long, long time. Is there any maybe future plans to make an actual like educational platform? Or do you know at all?
I don't know that for a fact, but there are plenty of materials out there and everything to help over that hump, right? I know exactly what you're talking about. I deal with that in the corporation world as well, and it is upon the individual to go and make that work, right? The kids, they get it. Yeah. This is easy for them. This is, oh, yeah, hey, look, just take it all in and push it to the limits that they can, figure out new ways to do things.
Well, just we're gonna, I mean, you know, with my campus, that's what we're training right now. You'll do everything my campus will do, with the exception of the fact my campus wrapped it up, made it look pretty.
Yeah.
And it would just seem maybe behoove them to do that also to an extent. Even though they're not really in that business, and I get that, they don't have to. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's where it is, right?
Yeah.
It's just.
What is my big campus primarily used for right now?
it's just a management system for schools, basically. Everything he just said, it just doesn't, it's tailored towards a school, so instead of.
They don't do
Just on
email,
broad-
right?
What's that?
They don't do email, right?
No, no.
They don't do calendar.
Yes, it
Yeah, okay, all right.
They have,
It's not near as powerful as what this is. It's just, I mean, you could hand me the parts to a car, I'm not sure the car would be put together. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Well, is there?
There are companies out there that help with that, right? And put templates together and kind of come in and do that type of thing and help with that. If there's something that's going to be out there that's going to make it sort of just a plug and play piece, I think you could probably see that coming.
Fred, are there any apps in particular that you see a lot of schools really latch onto and get a lot of use out of?
You know, what is-
specific apps besides, I mean, obviously the productivity, you know, the docs, sheets, and slides, you know, that's a given, so.
There's some very interesting stuff going on. You know, one thing I didn't really talk about was the whole hangout piece here, which we were going to show, but that's okay. Where I can sit here and click on somebody, and I can invite them to a hangout. I can invite a group of people to a hangout, and then you're interacting. You can have up to 15 people in the same room, virtually, if you will. So you're on your iPad. You can sit here and interact with that person, so you don't have to drive 12 and a half minutes to get here from the high school. I know that for a fact. You can sit here and have that conversation with them. And the great thing is, you can have a panel if you wanted to. And if everybody has a device, they can watch it. It's a YouTube video. Google bought YouTube. Basically a YouTube video. They watch it live. If they didn't watch it live, they could watch it from the beginning. They come in halfway during the middle of it and say, oh wait, they can back it up, start from the beginning and watch it. And it's all recorded, and it sits up there, and you have that control and access. So a teacher records her session for whatever reason, because she's not going to be there the next day or something. They can sit there and watch it. Kid misses class, right? I mean, that's kind of get to the extreme out there, but kid misses class, he can sit there and watch it on screen. Don't talk to me what that does to attendance rates and everything. It's a whole different conversation, but it gives you the possibilities. What else have I missed here? What other questions can I answer?
Do you use video much at all? Video conferencing, ever? I didn't use it much until we had a tool at my job that, and I wasn't even trying to use it, but I would make a phone call and then video would pop up. It definitely changes the conversation, not in a bad way, but I always feel a lot more, better connected to the conversation when I'm sitting there looking at the video of the other person. It's not something I absolutely need, but when it happens and it's there, it's nice. You know, you can see their facial expressions to what you're talking about and see if they're even paying attention to what you're talking about, because we all have, we're guilty of that on both ends, right? We'll be talking on the phone, but we're not really engaged. We're doing whatever else on our laptop.
Everybody here does except you for some
Well,
reason.
I know.
No, I mean, you can sit there and see, when they say yes, do they really mean yes? they get it? Do they understand you? You can't get that in a phone conversation. You can get that with a video conversation. It brings you that much closer.
Well, technically, Brett, what you're talking about with the video, instead of even having the teacher record the video if they're gonna be out, they could just teach it live from, if they happen to be, you know, at home or someplace where they're just not gonna be able to come in today, but I could teach a class through a video, they could technically do that. If you have a projector.
They do.
So moving to this and everything, you know, I'll just say that you got to plan for it from a cost and infrastructure standpoint. You know, what we're dealing with is wireless, and wireless only has so much spectrum it can use. Today it is overused. We're working on expanding it, but right now, today, it's overused. So there's been several schools that have tried to implement iPads. You guys know all the stories out there, right? I mean, iPads or Chrome devices or whatever, and nothing works because the wireless is not designed to get there. Just be aware of that. It's not anything the fault of the device or the service. It's just that you've got to architect it correctly to go. Did I answer questions? Did I create more questions? I hope I created more questions. My goal today was to create more questions. Did I create more questions? Or you want to go with it? You ready to sign up? We can do it right now.
They're already signed up, they just don't know it.
Okay.
Well, Brett, I have one more question that maybe will affect these guys. There's a lot of, you know, you guys in this room are administrative level. How would the, say, you know, Chromebooks and the Google management platform, how would that affect what they're able to do or appreciate about, you know, the use of Google devices or Google as a service?
So you asked a very interesting question. I mean, today you guys are not, you're using maybe a little bit, I hear about a little bit, maybe one grade of 1-to-1 or anything like that, is that right? Or nothing yet? No? Okay. I couldn't too many other conversations going on. This gives you, great thing is, for an additional fee on top of each Chrome device, was it $30, if I remember right, you get management of that device, you get mobile device management built in to the back end of Google. No more hardware you have to buy, put on place you don't have to worry about. I need to get another controller because we add another building or anything like that. It's all built in here. So now you're able to sit there and provision these devices out, and these devices can go to the grade, and that grade can have grade level appropriate applications that would be automatically pushed to the device based on the user that logged in. So it just starts opening up your management capabilities considerably. Instead of having, I need to have something, I need to have a chemistry app in high school and something different in middle school, you're able to do that all the way through. So when they get the device, they open it up, there it is. You didn't have to go through and touch every device, log in, create and install, did it blow up, did the image work, did everything get on there. You do it from here, one click, it pushes it out. Makes your job a little bit easier maybe.
A lot easier. And I can lock down the proxy, right? So they
Yep.
go home, I set the proxy to come through here and they can't change it.
Yep, you can lock down the wireless networks that they can connect to.
Can you keep them from using their home Gmail
Yep,
or home
you
Google
can lock it
accounts?
down so that only that person can log into that machine.
What about Billy's a senior, he graduates, he wants all his stuff. Can I transfer that off to him or will he have to do the?
You can transfer it off to him, or you can move him to alumni status and still not pay for it. So you don't have to manage it, right?
And I don't have to store anything.
You don't have to store it. You don't have to, all right, hey, you graduated, great. Here's your login. It still works all the same. Your alumni status, there you go.
Can I convert him from Active Directory to a standalone? The way I've got it set up right now, well, I guess, yeah, never mind. I answered my own question.
Great. I love that.
Never mind.
You're contemplating something over there. You want to express it, or you're okay?
That's always as
It's
confused.
just a look.
It's a 2 o'clock look, I guess. Huh?
Do you know anything about the Chromecasts?
Uh-huh.
Do you know if they're going to put a pin on that so you can secure it?
There is a lot of conversation around security of that and how to manage that right now.
Because we could use it in every classroom right now, except we can't keep anybody from connecting to it. So,
There's a lot of discussion going on about that right now. I don't have anything concrete I can tell you.
tell them to hurry up.
You work with any schools that use this in conjunction with My Big Campus?
I'm sure there are. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I can tell you, Wayne Township Schools down in Indy. And in fact, Pete Just is the chief technology officer there, and he agreed to meet with anybody from Frankton-Lapel that would like to, talk to him on their perspective. But they use Chromebooks, and he also helped, if I remember correctly, he actually helped My Big Campus get started a few years back. And so they still use that platform, but then they also use Chromebooks because it's the least expensive way to deliver content to the kids.
He rolled out 13,000 Chromebooks.
No, that's Warren Township.
Oh, I'm sorry, Warren Township.
The
You said Wayne.
Wayne Township is, they're on the opposite side of town, but Wayne Township
Warren,
is.
Wayne, it's just 30 minutes difference.
But yeah, they've had tons and tons of devices out there, but now they're getting away from, as they replace everything, they're being replaced with Chromebooks.
I can't imagine there being any type of issue though. I mean,
What is your concern with that? Is that,
Duplication.
yeah,
I mean, we've invested up to a point,
yeah.
and retraining, additional training, just trying to figure out, I guess, in my mind, because they have unlimited storage in My Big Campus. So if I'm a student or if I'm a teacher, do I want my kids storing things in My Big Campus? Do I want it on Google Drive? I mean, those are conversations we need to have and sort things out. I do like a lot of the variety of things you can do with Google.
Google Drive is nice too, because if I'm wrong, you can actually have a folder that is just connected, shared up. For a teacher, is just essentially drag and drop in the folder, which as teacher-wise, they'll think you're a god, because no longer do they have to press 18 buttons to upload, they're just dragging and dropping it.
What I would do is I'd create the docs in Google because they've got the 9 data centers. Lightspeed doesn't have 9 data centers. They've got 2, maybe. And they're not real quick either. And then just put a link in My Big Campus over to that and share it to your kids. And then you're still, because I don't get into that part of My Big Campus, I get into the back end part, but I would assume that you have to go in there and edit it and resave it or maybe re-upload it or something.
Yes,
But if it's
that's
a link, you got a live doc and it's always up to date on there.
I'm with you, guys. I can see somebody programming something that's gonna be, there's just a lot more use to this.
Just wraps a little bit.
Yeah.
Takes the corners out, basically.
And you guys could use it, or you guys could use this for evaluations. You do this on the evaluation, share it to, I forget what the hierarchy is. You do it, and then he looks at it, and it's shared to him, then it comes out to him, and he screws it up.
I was wondering.
No, you're the one that they're watching.
So you can create, I mean, there's, how many schools are out there doing it? I saw that I think 35% of K-12 schools are using Google today. There's a number that I saw. I don't know if I agree with the source yet or not, but with all those people using it, all this stuff you're talking about is all being worked on or has already been solved, and it's just needed to go out and find it.
When you guys want to do surveys, just do a form, because I did a form for him yesterday in about 3 minutes. And it dumps everything into all the responses into a spreadsheet.
Pretty cool.
Got pretty colors too. You went through it.
Oh, I would.
So if you want to create a form, you do this, boop, create a form, here it is. I'm going to just use a pretty form here, and I'm going to collect the username of who's doing it automatically, show a progress bar. I'm going to say, you can do multiple choice. You can do a scale, you can do a grid, you can do date time, so you can just capture all this information in here. And when you get it, it actually says where it's sending it to. And now if I just go look here, right, it's a spreadsheet. All the information is here in a spreadsheet. It goes through, fills it in, and as they're filling it in, you'll be able to sit there and watch that code. As this gets updated, you can also have it notify you that it's been updated. You can also have, as it goes through and fills in all this information, you can send a response back to the person that filled in the information with their responses if you want, or with another piece of information, or based on the information in here, you could have them send 5 different emails. 5 is just a number. And now I can embed that into an email, so you don't even have to open up another document. You're looking at an email and go, oh, look, there's a field right there. Just type it in, information in the field, hit submit. They never even had to go out of their email system.
The archiving, is that $10 per year or
Per year, per
per
non-student.
staff?
We believe in continuous learning here, so we're all students.
Did I leave anything out? Anybody sit there and go, oh, I wish you would have said.
Anybody have any questions about the Chromebooks themselves? There's a variety of different devices, but the Samsung's probably the most popular right now, mainly because of cost.
Have you felt it? Have you looked at it?
Here's a question, with all this, with Chrome changing like it is and growing like it is, what kind of life do you see a device like that? I mean, how long until the, per se, Google OS is farther along than the device itself? If that makes sense. So, in 3 years from now, is that device going to be able to handle maybe Google's having some real-time video or anything of that nature? What point can that device not handle what?
The
Does that
life
make sense?
expectancy of that is really, the way it's generated out there and everything is 3 years. $250. Just think about that for a second. How much is this?
And the management platform, the $30, that's a one time. I thought it was only, I thought it only lasted 2 years, but it's for the lifetime of the device.
The device is $200 plus $30.
So we're not very willing to,
One time.
at that point, to grow in my
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, You really don't repair those. There's hardly any serviceable pieces of it.
That's what the HP, is it supposed to be a little bit more sturdy, right, the new 11? That's what I've read, I don't.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet,
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
They just released that yesterday.
The screen's, the ISP screen's nicer than
Yep.
Yeah.
Hertz.
And I did, Andy, I mean, I just started a conversation with Andy about that, and I'm gonna try to get a demo unit of the HP one, just in case it's something you guys wanna look at. One of the differences is, that does have an HDMI port on it, HP doesn't. It does have a little micro, kinda like on your phone, you know, so you have to use an adapter cable to get to HDMI for screen output. But Andy's also found for the Samsung source for screens, you know, that's honestly from Warren Township and all the ones they've deployed, of the ones that have broken, it's, I think 90% of the time it's been screen or
They've only
kid.
had like 6 or 8 broken, right?
Yeah, not a lot. Out of 13,000 units, they only had 17 that were DOA in some form or fashion. So they're pretty good, you know.
So you're looking from 10% to about 0.2%.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference.
And if one dies, all the kid has to do is go to the help desk and say, hey, it's dead, and they go here, and they
Yeah.
go again, and they're done.
Right.
They'll have to image it, get all the software in there, which is awesome.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so
And even if we were, like in 3 years, to like different devices, that's irrelevant pretty much in how it works out, right? As long as it's a Chromebook, it doesn't matter a bit.
and like you said,
In
you
3
don't need a
years,
Chromebook. You just need
Yeah.
a browser.
Exactly.
You just need the Chrome browser and all the apps and everything that you've tied to your login right there.
in 3 years, the Chrome OS, I think, is going to go across many different platforms, including tablets and that type of thing. Right now, it's Android Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
In 3 years, they're going to be together, in my opinion, from everything I've seen.
To the white page.
So it all works.
Well, that was kind of my question, at what point does the OS have to
I
do
did
with
that
the Chromebooks now? You know, I just kind of, that's what, like iPad, the first ones you can't put OS 7 on. It's gonna be something.
Right. The device, you know, has a life expectancy of 3 years.
But we're good at pushing it.
Is that?
We're good at
Push
pushing
it all.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll push
3
it.
means 5. So,
Push it till smoke comes out soon.
I used to work for a large corporation. The CIO was a bean counter, accounting guy, so trust me, I know that.
I'm not being guns, we're just broke.
What about the apps? Like, I don't know that there's any like inappropriate apps on the Google App Store, but let's say I did.
Well, I'm sure
one.
there are,
I
but
didn't-
you limit what
Okay.
you can put on there. You can sit there and say they can't search apps, they can only search certain apps. There's maybe a genre of apps, right? Educational's in there, and it even drills down to the grade. So you go through and look at that and see what's available.
and these, the management, I think you can remote shut down any of them at a time, right? That's
Lock them up. or
Shut
lock
off the
them up.
Wi-Fi, remote shut down, all that stuff.
Log them out and knock them out, and suspend the account. You're not gonna get in.
Kill the camera.
Oh
Not
yeah.
active cameras, who gets fired for
I
that?
am not acting.
Yeah, somebody asked me that before. The YMCA was looking at these and they were like, "Can you turn the camera off, or is there some way?" And you can put that. That's something in the management platform that
Yep.
you can.
The management platform is relatively young, if you will. It's 2 years old, so it is continuing to grow and everything. It has really taken off like wildfire, which is good, because we need that to be able to manage these devices.
If you jump into this, is that $30 you think gonna stay forever, or more publics get will go up, they will go down? If you look at 6 years down the road, I mean, if we're buying,
From a Google policy standpoint, they try not to change anything with the educational side. But the $50 per user per year has been in effect from the business side for 12 years now.
but, tell me if I'm wrong, we buy a pool of them, so we've got 2,000 Chromebooks, we buy 2,000 licenses. All 2,000 of those go away with kids, we buy another set of 2,000, we just use the same licenses.
No.
They're on, no,
No, it is
goes
per
with
device.
it?
Stay with the device.
It is per device.
Never mind.
That's what I was wondering, that management system is $100, now we're different.
But that was.
Well, but even if if you're not licensed, if you're not managing a dead machine,
It's per device.
it's still worth the device.
Right.
You
You think
probably
it's gonna
will
stay
be.
there?
As far as Google knows, it's pretty device.
But the device is, how much again? $250. Will that device price go down? Yeah. You can get a device for $199 today if you wanted to. I would suggest it, it's not a very high quality device, but the device prices are high. That's all I have to say. Any other questions? Look good?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, guys, for coming out, appreciate it.